Well, this is new. Yeah, it's been a while since I did anything on this channel, but I've decided because I just have not got time right now to make the big long form videos. I'm still making them, don't worry, I'm not quite as in tune as I was. I thought, why not try something new and do some just sort of vloggy, let's talk to you and me, intimately videos where I talk about anything really. Mostly I want to talk about a lot of films really, because I may be the video game man who does all the Sonics and all the hell was the last thing I did, but primarily films kind of my main thing. I have more films than I have video games, and I think overall I'm a film guy. Got a bloomin' degree in it, I better be. And yeah, so I figured the perfect one to kick this off with was Super Mario Galaxy, being that it's both a hot new film that plenty of people are watching, and also it's based on a video game. Not just any video game, my second favourite video game of all time. So yeah, I think this is going to be a very messy format. This will just be me vlogging and ranting. Whether the battery lasts long enough, let's find out. Got that as well, backdrop. I'm trying, alright? I'm trying. So yeah, the review is messy, I'm messy as you can see, and yeah, so I guess the place to start would be what I thought about the first one. Not just the Bob Hoskins one, which I actually don't mind, because even though it's a terrible adaptation, I think it has such a wonderful identity. Like, the production design of the Bob Hoskins one was awesome, but we're not talking about that. The Super Mario Brothers movie, that's the one. Overall, I think it's as accurate an adaptation of the original 80s Super Mario Brothers as you can do. And what I mean by that is it's the most basic Mario, therefore you get a very basic film. I think it's cute. You know, if you want to see just Mario jumping around going wahoo on the big screen with, you know, the music and all the references and things, it's harmless. It's fine. I'm not gonna call it high art or anything, but if someone wanted to watch it, I wouldn't kick a fuss. It does a lot of things I wouldn't have done. Mostly things like the licensed music was egregious, and things where I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I respect people that are. On the flip side, with Super Mario Galaxy, which you are dealing with something really interesting here, because you've skipped like 3 films there. I think we all thought there would be a Super Mario World movie or a Super Mario Sunshine movie, but no, we're going to Galaxy. It's like going from Sonic the Hedgehog 1 to Sonic Colors, but okay. Mario Galaxy invites itself as one of the more cinematic Mario adventures. You have more nuance in the video game, like Rosalina's backstory and just the underlining emotion of it. That's quite hard to decipher, but definitely exists. And so, what do you present? You get kind of more of the same as the first film, honestly. Overall, I think when I say this is messy, I'm also coming to my own thoughts about it as I go. So I think I preferred this one to the first, because my immediate thoughts are it fixed many issues I had with the first one. I mentioned the licensed music. That's gone. The licensed music's all but, I think there were like 1, maybe 2 licensed songs, and they were well used. Freaking Hypnotized by... Is it Hypnotized by Notorious B.I.G.? Is in there? Actually really well used. Really well used. That got a good laugh. And it doesn't last long, and it doesn't take much emphasis. After that, though, I think there's one party scene, and that's it. There is no more... There's no... Very little non-diegetic intrusive music, I guess is what I mean to say. And that is a huge step up. Huge step up. Bowser doesn't even sing this time, which I'm okay with that. Peaches was funny at first, but definitely detracts on rewatch. Second plus, I think the voice acting was better overall, especially Chris Pratt, because he was kind of the divisive one that people didn't really know what to do with. It's the common joke like, oh, he's just doing his main voice. I don't think he quite is. The way I always saw Chris Pratt's Mario, it's like, if you could draw a line between, like, you've got the video game Charles Martinet, wahoo, let's go, oh, here, and you have over here, you know, your Bob Hoskins, your Lou Albano, you know, you got your, there's a storm, Luigi, you didn't make it. I think Chris Pratt's the perfect middle, where he has the Brooklyn accent, the groundedness, and also can go wahoo, funny wahoo man. He's got pitchiness to his voice that he dials up a lot more in this one. Charlie Day, still the best thing in this film. He was the best thing in the last film. Luigi steals this film. He's the best part, and Charlie Day continues to be brilliant. I think Anya Taylor-Joy felt more comfortable overall. I think she felt more comfortable in this role because Peach in the last film, outside of the fact it was Peach, as a character there wasn't as much connecting her to the source material. You could have a kick-ass, fun Peach like in the comics or even Subspace Emissary, but Peach has this sort of grace to her that wasn't really in the first film. It's in this one, much more. I mean, the biggest action scene with her involves her using her umbrella. So we're back on top form. And she just seems a bit more refined. Because I thought, when we did Peach in the last film, I did think the day we get around to Daisy, what's going to separate them? Now we have more of a separation. So that works. And she's more comfortable in the role. Jack Black as Bowser... he spends like a third of the film pitch shifted, so it's a bit hard to gauge. But there's more layers there. Bowser kind of has his own arc that ultimately goes nowhere. So that may be detract some people. At first, I kind of liked what they were doing with Bowser. As you can see, this formula's not working. I'm just going through the characters now, but that's how we're doing things. Bowser, he kind of has what seems like a false redemption arc, becoming kind of a real redemption arc, and then just becoming the main villain again. It's like, okay, that's not really a spoiler. It's Bowser, of course. He's a bad guy. He's not the main villain. Bowser Jr. is the main villain. But and I thought they were harkening back to how he is in the RPG games. Was what I thought they were doing, because he's not evil. He even says himself, like, I hate the Mario Brothers, but I don't know if I want to kill them. And that's fun. But ultimately, it goes nowhere. It's kind of pointless. And I get what I see what they're going for, but I don't think it quite lands, which is a shame. And you have new additions. I mean, you've got why is Yoshi in Donald Glover's tool set? Why is that something? I know Donald Glover has a comedic background with things like Community, but it's just he's really good as Yoshi. Who knew? And Yoshi, I think what you needed a second movie. You needed a Sunshine or a World to really give Yoshi proper time, because it definitely feels like they introduce him and we're off, and that he's kind of dragged along for the journey, and he has his moments, but it's just like there's other characters that we'll get to that definitely hijack it from him. But he's cute, he's fun. I'm glad Yoshi's here. He does a good job. We get Bowser Jr., who I think actually I like how they did Bowser Jr., because I remember the trailers and the clips. He was very methodical, very, very well spoken, very, the great Bowser name shall reborn. I'm like, oh, that's not Bowser Jr. That's just a mini Bowser. That's just a mini Bowser from Mario Party. But in the film, he's Bowser Jr. He has the immaturity. He's more juvenile than I thought he would be. I mean, his entire villain scheme is based on a bedtime story. That's very Yoshi's story. I like that. That's great. That's brilliant. And it's interesting how they sacrifice how he is in Sunshine for how he is in Wonder. Is an interesting choice. I should really be tackling this as a film guy, because I keep going Mario Wonder and references, and people that don't know the games will be like, the hell's that mean? Let's talk about the cinematography then. This film looks amazing. Illumination sort of used to pride themselves that they were cheap, quick, but got results. Their films, they never looked up to snuff with the big heavy hitters of animation, but they made money and they made impact. This one looks really good. This is visually stunning. The first film looks really good, but this one really steps it up. This is a fantastic looking animated film. So if you just want a screensaver on in the background, this is the film for you. And the score, phenomenal. I I mean, Brian Tyler, he nailed the first one. And this time, I mean, he draws on other games that I'll get to in the spoiler section. He draws on other games that euphoric. I ascended. There's one, and it's just how clever. It's so clever with its score. At one point, it goes from like the intro bit of Galaxy 2's Bowser theme into Bowser Jr.'s leitmotif from Galaxy 1, and then sort of swings back to like that one note in Galaxy when you meet Bowser, you know, sort of the boom, you know, the same note you get when you activate a mission in Simpsons Hit and Run. That's in there. It's so obscure, so specific, but so beautifully weaves into itself. Brilliant job. Fantastic. If there's one thing you have to see this film for, it's... And by one I mean two. If there's two things you have to see this film for, it's for the visuals and the score. In fact, I'm pretty sure that image is just the soundtrack. That sums it up. But I've been talking a big game about all the fun stuff. Let's have fun tearing this apart. Okay, so if you like Super Mario Galaxy and you like the game that introduced the fantastic character Princess Rosalina, this film's not for you. Rosalina gets shafted. Really bad. Really bad. And it's a shame because, like, her introduction's so brilliant, and it's a character with such dignity, and brilliantly voiced by Brie Larson. She nails it for the 2 bloody scenes she talks in, and spends most of the film kidnapped and captured, which feels like a really bad course correct from the first one, where some people were like, oh, shouldn't Peach have been the one who'd been kidnapped? And it's like, well, no, you want a prominent female character in the story, so naturally Peach, as she should, comes along. No, if anything, Mario comes along with her. She's leading the charge. She is the princess. And as a result, people that are like, well, let's do it this time. Let's have the princess be kidnapped. They picked Rosalina. And her backstory. Again, I'll go into specifics in the spoiler section, but her backstory... It's not necessarily the connection it has to the main cast I have an issue with. It's the background of the backstory, if that makes sense. I'll specify the spoiler section, but the circumstances of her backstory are where I'm like, that doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. I don't think that. I mean, for context, if you don't know, Rosalina's backstory in the games is basically she's from presumably Earth, presumably the Mushroom Kingdom, I think implied, and she finds a lost Luma, the Star Children, and they go together. They go searching off in the stars to find the Luma's mama, and they never find her. And ultimately, the Luma decides Rosalina is my new mama now, and that invites more Lumas. So Rosalina starts raising lost Lumas, which we get. We do get that, and it's very wholesome, very brilliant. I love the Lumas in this, and anytime a Luma just makes that one noise, it makes me so happy. Yeah. And there's the tragedy that Rosalina's kind of running away from the fact her mother died, and she'll never get to relive any time with her, and so she's got this new life now as a mother to the Lumas. And the very first Luma she adopted transforms into the comet that becomes the Comet Observatory. That's so many layers and nuance for a Mario game. None of that's here. None of that. Not a bit. And it's like, my God. I thought the reason they did Galaxy was because they wanted to explore something deeper. They don't. The first film had very little subtext, very little nuance, but there was at least story arcs with Mario's inadequacies from his home life that he makes up for in the Mushroom Kingdom and gets to be a hero for Brooklyn. That's an arc, at least. Yeah, this has none of that. This has nothing. There's no... Mario's arc, basically, is he fancies Peach, but what if she doesn't fancy him? This ain't no Mario Odyssey. And so there's none of that. None of that, which is a tragedy, because this is when you... I think my point is, when it comes to any kind of nuance or layers and stuff in a Mario subtext, if you want to make a movie that's just fun, jumping around, wahoo and all that, You can get away with it with Super Mario Brothers. You can get away with it with Super Mario World, Sunshine, Wonder, even Odyssey to an extent. Super Mario Galaxy 2, I think you can get away with it. You cannot get away with it with Galaxy 1. Galaxy 1 has this an understated emotional through line that I don't think you necessarily register as there, but subconsciously there's a melancholy, there's a sense of beauty in isolation. Just stand in Gateway Galaxy, just float in Space Junk Galaxy. You'll see what I mean. That there's a beauty to Galaxy that is not even remotely represented here, and I think that's the biggest tragedy. If you see what I mean, where I'm coming to conclusions in this video. It's nice to vent. How are you? We haven't spoken for a while. You can vent too if you want. Did you like this movie or not? You can tell me all about it, because I'm telling you all about it. Where was I? The je ne sais quoi of Mario Galaxy, that was it. And I think maybe if this film was just called the Super Mario Brothers movie 2 and just borrowed elements from Galaxy, maybe I'd be more forgiving. Kind of like the Sonic movies. They did Sonic Adventure 2, but they didn't call it Sonic Adventure the movie. It's Sonic 3. It's the third Sonic film. It's a film first, just pulling from the games, which these are not so concerned about doing. They just want to be like, we're Mario Galaxy. I'm like, you've got to earn the right to be Mario Galaxy. And this doesn't hit the mark. But as a sequel to the Mario Brothers movie, it's more of the same. There's still lots of fun to be had. I'll get into the fun in the spoilers, because the spoilers are where the fun lies. So we'll get to that. But I guess before I get to spoilers, is there anything else I need to really address? I think so. I guess to quickly summarize, even though I said I preferred this one, I really teared into it, didn't I? Okay, there's what little subtext and layers of it the first film had. This had less. This rushes through everything at a breakneck speed. However, it fixes a lot of the problems I had with the first one. So I guess it kind of balances out in a way. It's like for every problem it fixes, it presents a new one. But there's one scene, I'll definitely go into spoilers, towards the end, it's kind of the start of the climax, and I was like, this one scene feels more like a Mario movie than the first Mario movie. I think we should get into spoilers, don't you? Let's get into spoilers. Let's really divvy it up. Okay, so this is the spoiler zone now. When this is gone, you can go to here, I guess. I don't know where I'm putting numbers and letters. Go to this and you will skip the spoilers, but it's where the nuance of this discussion really lies. Anyway, let's kick off spoilers. As a Star Fox fan, I was catered to. Oh my god. I didn't talk about him because he is in the advertising that Fox McCloud is in this film, but it's if you've been dodging that, you might not know, because it is brilliant. It's Fox McCloud, man. It's fucking Star Fox. And he's introduced with like it's an anime opening with Falco, Peppy, and Slippy in there. It's a rock orchestral remix of the Star Fox theme. Oh my god! And he has about 7 minutes of screen time, but he does more than Rosalina. I remember Star Fox in this. I remember Fox McCloud in this, and Glenn Powell. What an inspired show! I would never have guessed that's. But it's Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick makes sense. It's great. He's great. Yeah, I loved everything to do with Fox McCloud. Brilliant. And in terms of other key dangling reference that made me happy like a seal, we got Pikmin. I liked that. I like how I recognised the ship before the Pikmin arrived. That's how you know. I think one of the funniest gags was Rob. Not just for the fact it's Rob, but the fact they got him moving like that, like the real robotic operating buddy. That's fun. That's funny. And it's funny as well because the first time it's funny, second time less funny, third time it's funny again. So they learned to balance it. And overall, this is it's not a laugh out loud riot film, but there's some yucks to be had. I had a couple of chuckles, and I think the MVP of the film was Mr. Game & Watch. I don't think anyone expected that. That's great. And the reason he works, and I think a lot of other key dangling cameos don't, is because if you don't know who Mr. Game & Watch is, the bit still works, because the joke ultimately is that Luigi can't... He's got Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush, but he can't draw. So, to the undiscerning eye, it's a stick man, but to a Nintendo fan, it's Mr. Game & Watch. So the joke still works even if you're not in on the joke. Highlighting on the Pikmin feels a bit more like an awkward, silent Andrew Garfield moment where you're like, am I supposed to clap here? I don't know. And Star Fox is a character, at least. He's part of the plot. He plays a role. Oh yeah, the Euphoria moment. There's a bit where the music, I want to go back. I'm all over the place now because Star Fox gets me excited. There's a bit where the music goes from the final battle. Is it the Grandmaster Galaxy from the first Galaxy? A remix of that into a remix of Corneria from the Super Nintendo Star Fox. I'm like, oh my god, yes. That's what I meant by other Nintendo music. There's Pikmin music, there's Star Fox music. I think there's a Famicom Grand Prix 2 track in there. It's bizarre. And as a celebration of more external Nintendo outside of Mario, this is a fun, exciting first step that people will definitely get excited for. I think someone best compared this overall to the Subspace Emissary, that it's blinding neck speed. There's no time to stop and let moments breathe. In fact, there's one egregious moment where Peach learns her backstory, which we'll get into, and she learns it. We get a reaction shot of her sort of processing it, and it immediately cuts away to the Bowser planet. And I'm like, you could have let that breathe. Which is a shame, because the first act is quite well paced. There's lots of moments in the first act where a lot of the characters don't talk for a bit. Like when Mario and Luigi are meeting Yoshi for the first time, the build-up, there's not much dialogue. And I quite like that. Same when the star bits rain down. There's, again, little dialogue. More of that would be nice. To let moments sit and breathe. Basically, the film needs to... I mean, it's probably the same length. I think it's the same length, if not a bit shorter than the first film. And it needs to calm down. It has the room to breathe. Just use it. Use it. And, yeah. Anyway, Peach's backstory. So, Rosalina's backstory. Let's dive into it. So what I meant was, her and Peach being sisters... that's not necessarily my biggest... I have an issue with it, but it's not my biggest issue. Is the background. Like I said, Rosalina had this rich origin in the first game, and here she's just made of Stardust. And Peach, apparently. They're just on some little prince planet, and they just hang around stardusting, I don't know. And then an unknown force attacks them. Who the hell was that? Tatanga from Mario Land? I don't know. And then Rosalina has to evacuate Peach to the Mushroom Kingdom, which is we saw in the first film. I think you're making Peach too important. That sounds awful. Hear me out. What I mean is, what made Peach endeared to Mario in the first film was the fact did she assume she was from Earth? And so she lacked that grounded connection that Mario has to his very humble Brooklyn roots. And she found that endearing. You know, hey, I get your turtle. That whole thing. That's why she has interest in Mario. Because he's kind of representing that which she never had. And you can still do that if she's from the stars, but isn't that more of an impressive life than Brooklyn plumbers? I don't know. The groundedness of Mario is fun. Unfortunately, my favourite part of the first film was the Brooklyn stuff. There's none of that. And yeah, Rosalina and Peach being sisters, it's like this. I know it was a scrapped idea for Galaxy. But it's like, well, they're both blonde. So they're siblings now, I guess. Especially because I don't think they talk in the film. They share a bonding moment at the end where their powers combined, but they don't talk. They don't interact. That's a missed opportunity. I feel bad I haven't mentioned Toad once. Let's talk about Toad. There's nothing to talk about with Toad. He kind of has this set up one-sided rivalry rivalry with Yoshi that goes nowhere. There's an entire extended sequence with the T-Rex from... It's like a Yoshi's Island sequence. The Mario and Luigi are babies. Why are we doing this? And, you know, Yoshi's there with the Super Scope, so it's more Yoshi's Safari with the T-Rex from Odyssey. That felt like a... That felt like a Big Bang Theory bit. It's the babies from Yoshi's Island with the gun from Yoshi's Safari, and there's the T-Rex from Mario Odyssey. It's like, it's just reference. Calm down. Tell a story. Yeah. And it's pointless. You'd think because Toad's with Yoshi, that is where that plot would have a payoff. But no, it's never acknowledged. He doesn't respect Yoshi from this point where he's like, hey, you know what, you're alright, you saved the babies. It did lead to a funny line with Luigi preferring life as a baby, which feels on brand. Hey, Mario! But yeah, there's just lots of things. There's lots of weird scenes. Like, they go to the Honey Hive Kingdom. That looks nothing like the Honey... I didn't know it was the Honey Hive Kingdom until they met the Queen, the Honey Queen, who's weirdly tyrannical. She has slaves or whatever. She has, like, work prisons with slaves. I don't like that. That's... Yeah. Yeah, there's no indication it was the Honey Hive Kingdom. None at all. Also, it ends really abruptly. It's a weird nitpick. Like, the first film, you have the climax where they fight Bowser. It ends, and then you get a nice epilogue just to wrap it up with Mario and Luigi now living in the Mushroom Kingdom as plumbers, and they jump off to their first quest. And that's the end. That's your epilogue. This, they don't. The climax is over. There's a Mario Maker sequence where they rebuild the castle. Mario worlds up, plants a flag, cuts the credits. It's like, whoa, I needed something. I needed something there. Even if it's Peach and Rosalina talking about their newfound siblinghood. I needed... Because you have the Mario brothers and now you have sisters. You could play with this. But no, that's never addressed. Okay. Because Luigi even jokes about, hey, you don't find me a girl. Which we get in the credits scene, because Daisy's there. We'll get to that. This film just needs to calm down. It needs to calm down. The climax is really, really cool. It's really fun. It even goes into a Mario Maker climax where Peach and Mario are sent into this chamber. Bowser Jr. says, time to meet your maker. And it becomes like just one of those ridiculous Mario Maker levels where it's just like 3 million spinning fire things, spikes, a wall of that was funny. That was smart. I liked that. That was a good... See, that's a good reference. Where if you don't have the context, you still get it. You get the scene. But with context, it's got an extra layer. That's how you do a good cameo or reference where an audience member who doesn't know... I think nowadays we're taking for granted that the reason a lot of things work, the reason the MCU worked, the reason the Sonic films work, is because... It's not that they treat audiences like idiots, but they allow audiences who don't know these things to be drawn in and to understand what's going on. The fact that, you know, millions of people watched a freaking Marvel movie where they had Thanos with his stones and they got it. They got it because they didn't just rock him up like, hey, it's the guy from the comics. No, they set him up as a film character first. And that's where these Mario movies don't really work. If you don't know Mario, this must be nonsense. This must mean nothing to you. And this is a film... well, I guess there's a reason it's called the Mario movie. It's a movie, not really a film. It's a movie. It's a popcorn munching filler. I'm being way too harsh now. But it deserves it. No, so... Yeah. Let's just talk about the credit scenes. I want to talk about those. So there's 2 credit scenes. First one very quickly kicks Fox out of the film back to his own universe, I think implied? Warp Drive universes? I didn't like that. I like Nintendo being in one universe. Oh well. Yeah, so he's gone back to his own film. Okay, I'd be open to that. Star Fox stuff was where this film excelled, so Illumination might be able to do a Star Fox film. Again, they might miss all the darker edge to it, so maybe not Illumination, but well, we're stuck with it now. And then it's just the Luma from the first film, the weirdly nihilistic Luma torturing Bowser and Bowser Jr. That was fun. That was cute. That made sense. And then the second credit scene is Daisy. Cool. Because that opens up the big discussion. What the hell do you do next? You've done... You went from Mario Brothers, to Galaxy. Where do you go? At least Sonic's taking its time with this thing. Like, we've only just got to Sonic CD, but we're already at Mario Galaxy, and we've done things like we've done Odyssey in there. We've done Mario Brothers 2 was in there for some reason. I talk about Rosalina being wasted. Talk about Birdo. My God, doesn't even get a line. But Ward was fun. He shouldn't exist. He's a treat. But here we are. That was a fun sequence. Again, pointless, but Peach could have got that information anywhere. But yeah, whatever. It drove the plot in a fun, visual way, I guess. Yeah, what the hell was I rambling about? I get caught up in my rambles. These videos are going to be very experimental. And yeah, so where do you go from here? I guess what I'd do is if you did a direct where it's like, this is the logo for the new Mario movie, and it has this, and I would introduce the Super Mario Brothers movie mode from the first film, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Beat, and then like crudely ink pen cross Mario write Wario. The Super Wario Brothers movie is basically where it's Mario Brothers 3, but Wario and Waluigi are the main villains. Give me your Danny DeVitos and your Bill Haders, and we're good to go. Where Daisy would fit in, I have no idea. Would you do Mario Land? That feels reductive from Galaxy. Wonder? I don't know. You've really, really done yourself into a corner here. Especially because I mentioned my favourite scene of the film isn't even a Mario Galaxy scene. It's a scene that should have been in the first film, the Mario Brothers film. It's Mario and Bowser on the bridge above lava with the axes. That was perfect. No notes. That was brilliantly done. It was tense. It was well paced. And we got dry Bowser afterwards. So, fair play. I didn't expect dry Bowser. That was cool. That was fun. Especially because there is this moment clocking on Mario's face where he looks at Peach like, sorry, I have to kill this guy. He tries to kill Bowser. And even Bowser Jr. is like, oh my God, my dad's dead. Like, it's... Yeah. So, and actually Bowser Jr. is a highlight. Bowser Jr. is a highlight. Yeah. So, this was a messy review, but it's a messy film. In conclusion, right. So, I think I still did overall prefer Galaxy because it felt more like a Mario game. It depends really how you're tackling this. If you're tackling this as a video game movie, you're probably gonna like it. Because if you like the first one, just Mario jumping around with the Easter eggs and things, you'll probably like this. It's way too fast paced, but you will like this probably. There's an audience for this. It's gonna make $1 billion, whether we like it or not. And it's harmless. I didn't feel offended for the art of cinema or whatever. It's about as good as like a C-list Marvel movie. It's harmless. It's fine. You'll live. But if you attack this as a video game movie, then you will hate this. There's nothing. It's quite vapid thematically, subtextually, emotionally, any of that. Anything that makes a film isn't really here. And that's a shame because it's Mario Galaxy. And that's a game that had this authentic, understated beauty to it that is not represented here at all. Why would you step up to the plate with Mario Galaxy when you can't deliver? Just call it Mario Brothers 2. And you got Mario Brothers 2 in here. So, I don't know. It would be like if they do the Zelda movie. And again, it's a similar thing where it's a very generic kind of thing. and then they announce they're doing Majora's Mask, it's like, whoa, no, you're not ready for that. They were not ready for Galaxy. They should have done World or Sunshine, or both. Combine them. Bowser Jr., Yoshi, anyway, you combine them. Do that. They probably will next anyway. So yeah, I'm not in the business of giving scores really. That's more for my Letterboxd, I guess. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I'm glad I watched it. I guess like it's a good time waster. If it's kind of like a film you'd have on Christmas Day when everyone's kind of drunk. It's on. You look up and go, "Hey, it's Mario," and yeah, it's cute. It's cute. There's about as good as the later Despicable Me movies or Minion movies. It's Illumination. There's nothing here for brains, but for the Nintendo fan at heart, there's that at least. So yeah, that was Scatterbrain, wasn't it? I hope this gave you some insight to my mindset. If you liked this and want to see more rambles about films, I would definitely be happy to. But I mean, did you like Mario Galaxy or did you not? I'd be very curious actually, because yeah, we'll see. I'd like to know. So I will get back to work on videos properly, and I will see you whenever I do another ramble like this. See ya.